Ladies and gentlemen, we do thank you very much for your attention, and now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Welcome to our top travel destinations. I am your host, Kevin Flanagan. I have been editor of the weekly travel news column in the Sunday Independent and the Fine Wine and Food Guide, and I am here to use my decades of experience to help you know exactly where to stay, eat, drink, shop, and explore when visiting the world's top travel destinations. So sit back and enjoy the wonders of travel as we take off on our magical journey together. Welcome to Kevin's top travel destination. And this week it's a very poignant week because I lost a very, very good friend and a traveling companion, Paul McGlade, who I'd known for over 30 years and who was a very dear friend and who died very suddenly. We had actually been planning to go away together, maybe to Latin America to do some podcasts, but that's not going to happen. So what I wanted to do today was to just look at how important people die. My friend died, but our travel memories live. And I'd really would encourage you and invite you to think of great travel memories with people that are alive or people that have passed on, because it takes us out of our comfort zone and the trudgery of day-to-day life, and we can really come alive when we travel. And I think there's lots of studies that show that. And I wanted to share just 3 fantastic memories of my friend Paul, and in a way to stimulate you, as well as memorizing him, to look at your own lives and to see how precious travel can be, to give you that real essence of a good time with someone. Paul was always a fantastic traveler. He had this idea, which I'm now coming round to, of always spending the first 3 months of the year, January, February, March, in a foreign country, a warm clime, such as Goa. Latterly, it was in Mexico as well. And he was a trailblazer in a way. He understood, even though I was a travel writer, he was really going out there. Now, he was a very successful entrepreneur. He had the means to do so. But I'll always remember his zest for travel and the way he said it would bring you to life. So my first memory is finally, he'd been going on and on and on about Goa in India. Well, finally, just 2 years ago, I decided I would take him up on his offer. I was in Asia. I think I was going to Cambodia at the time. When that was done, I decided to grab a plane and fly over to India. I think it was a 4-hour journey. Well, it took some time to get to Goa. There were lots of alarms and excursions. COVID was still prevalent, and I had to get an emergency test at the airport and run back with my certificate just as the gates were closing. Very exciting. But Paul, too true to his word, had sent his driver to pick me up, and I was whisked away to this paradise. Now, Goa is a Portuguese colony. It's the only Indian colony that has Portuguese heritage from an imperial point of view. And Paul showed me around. He's owned a hotel there with his son, Paul Jr., and he knows the place inside out from a business point of view, and he has loads of friends. So there's 2 memories I want to share. The first was every morning at our beachside hotel, looking out onto the Indian Ocean. What a wonderful, beautiful place, 25 degrees. Paul would come knocking on my door, and I'd get up and we'd go out, put on our sandals, and I would take my life in my hands because he drove a scooter, a motorbike actually. So I'd jump on the back, grab hold of him, and off we would go. Now, it was about 20 minutes on these dirt track roads, and you would have to slow down to avoid the holy cows that were walking down the center of the road. And finally we arrived at our destination, which was a yoga class. Now, I kid you not, this was with a proper yoga guru right up on the top overlooking the ocean, and there we would do an hour and a half of yoga. And the yoga master would always end off by taking his sound bowl and coming around to each of us and doing the sound bowl and giving us a sort of a blessing. And it was the most extraordinary way to start the day, and I trusted Paul on the back of the scooter, even though it was quite dangerous and he went quite fast. But I knew I was in safe hands, and then after that he'd say, okay, I've got somewhere new, we're going to experiment and find, Kevin. And off he'd take me again on the back of the scooter, weaving in and out of the holy cows, the traffic, the lorries that would try to knock you off the road. Now just set the scene. You're looking over the ocean, it's sparkling, your coffee's served, maybe a fruit juice or coconut juice, he loved that. And there we would kick back our heels and discuss life and death. And we talked about death a lot, so this comes as a great shock, but it was very interesting. And being in India, they have a different approach to death. And it was just the most amazing thing. One other thing that happened in Goa, Paul said to me, he had a wry sense of humour. He said, we're going to go down to the yacht club. And I thought, oh no, another very posh place, no doubt. It wasn't. It was full of Liverpudlians and all his wonderful English friends. And it was a shack that they turned into a place where you could get chips and fresh seafood and have a beer and talk about Liverpool football. Unbelievable. One other memory of travelling was going down to Marbella. And again, I'd like you to look to your own wonderful memory bank of the places you visited with friends and what's been important when they are here or they're not here about that destination you go to. Marbella was a place Paul knew. He had a family home there, and we'd go down there quite regularly, actually, just for maybe a night or 2 nights. And one of the great standout memories for me in Marbella, if you ever go, is to go to Nobu. Now, Nobu is a world-famous restaurant. It's run by that extraordinary chef. And we would sit down and we would have the black cod and sit in front of the sushi makers. It's very high-end, very expensive, but it's worth it as a treat. And then my favourite, they actually had the ragu, the Japanese meat, but the very, very special sort of Japanese meat that had been made with cows that had been massaged with oil and fed sake, and it was most succulent meat. And all they did was, it was almost like a carpaccio. They just put a blowtorch on it, and we'd kick back, and then we'd go dancing and nightclubbing and have an absolute ball. And finally, when my birthday came, a big birthday recently, Paul said, come on, we're going to go over to London. Where do you want to go? I said, well, there's only one place I've ever wanted to go, and that's the Savoy Grill. I've never been there. Their oysters and champagne are absolutely supposed to be amazing, and you've got this great view onto the river. And so that was Paul's treat. He ordered the best champagne. We had really wonderful oysters, some of them Irish and wild oysters. And we kicked back and we chatted and he read the papers and we just had the most amazing time. What I got out of knowing Paul McGlade was this sense of you travel to live. And I would so strongly encourage you to actually think about how in your life, where have the memories been? Special memories in special destinations. What's been a major city that you visited with a friend? Maybe it was your parents who are no longer here. Maybe it's with a loved one that's passed away, or maybe it's with someone that's currently alive. And if they are currently alive, I would so strongly recommend you to find a destination and to create memories. I think it's very important, the travel element of memories we make with people, because we are out of this day-to-day dreariness and drudgery that we have to have in order to rear families, keep relationships going and work. And then we get these rare opportunities. And I think what was very lucky, and why I'm going to miss Paul so deeply, is we were both the same age. We were single again. We had a zest for life. We were odd, both of us, in our own particular way. We were 70 going on 17. We rediscovered our youth and we had a zest for life. And the travel has provided such great memories. So please go out and make your own memories and really do find a destination. It can be as little as a city break for 1 or 2 nights. It can be a long-haul destination, say if you want to go down to the Inca Trail or the Camino Trail or something that's going to be really dramatic. Take it with both hands, because I know, particularly as you get older, things can sort of settle down and we can become very humdrum and it's safer to travel. I have a lot of friends of a certain age now who say, oh, I won't travel after COVID. I think that's sort of crazy. And I think there's a phrase, what's the difference between being in a rut and being in the grave? And the answer to that is, can you guess? Well, it's about 5.5 feet. So don't be in a rut. Get out, find your pals, find your loved ones, get on a plane, go to a destination and make memories. Because my friend is dead, so sadly, but our travel memories live on.